Hi guys, welcome to another Melbourne preview. We've got a great meeting at Caulfield to talk about this week. Darren Potter, welcome.
Hey Matt, great card at Caulfield.
It is.
It's 131 acceptors. Those poor buggers up there in Sydney having to deal with 77, and I would think some pretty thin markets, whereas in Melbourne it's fat, which creates opportunities, but also makes it a little bit dangerous with so many resumers. But hopefully things will roll our way and we'll find a couple of good price winners there.
Exactly, and before we start spruiking other products and stuff like that, let's just start with what we've got right here. Darren Potter, you're in the best form I think I've ever seen you, and you've been in good form before. This is a pretty special run.
I think it's the best form I've been in since spring last year.
Yeah,
so
I think for those that didn't know, last Saturday, if you came through Pro Bet Alive, it would have been about a 90 unit return. There was one race particularly, we got a double payout because Darren was very keen on Thames Velour, was it? And Shenzhou Steed.
That's it.
And the protest was upheld, so most of our guys got paid double. One was $13, I think, or $11. The other was $6.50, so that was a great result.
It's good if you can get paid twice for one race.
Yeah.
It's not something that I get the benefit of, but for those of our subscribers out there that got the benefit of it, good on you. That was good. That's good. You know that the corporates want to play these silly games. That's sometimes they're going to get burnt. So.
And the other one, which I want to congratulate you for, was in the 3-year-old race. Was it well handled?
Well sprung.
Well sprung. $41, I think, was on our betting plan early.
Yep.
And that's you're pretty keen.
We made a unit each way at 41 and 10. Look. The key to finding winners like that is finding races where the form's hollow. And that's that 3-year-old Colts race in Melbourne. All the form leading into it had been very hollow.
Yep.
He was coming off a maiden where he got beat, but his run had something. You know, I didn't tip him on top. I tipped him in the numbers.
Yep.
He was well over the odds. I think I marked him $10.
Yep.
And he went around $41. But you know, if you find those races where there's soft form that's vulnerable to that type of thing, there is an opportunity to get, to find those type of winners.
Yeah, mate. Well done.
Thank you.
And Darren said the interim will be online tonight for Caulfield.
It'll be online as soon as you send it out because it's been sent here. It's all done.
Oh, it has been sent.
Yeah,
beautiful.
I thought it'd be a lot of work this week with the 131 acceptors, so I made an early start, and I've got through it quite well. So
well done. Well, that's a good sign, I think.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Saturday's races. Caulfield's been racing terrifically since the revamp, and they've put the rail in the 6 metres. What are we thinking?
The 6 metre position is probably the best position at Caulfield.
Okay.
So, there aren't many bad ones.
Yep.
Only when it gets really wide do we ever have any troubles.
Okay.
If there's a lot of rain around. But really, the Caulfield track is superb. There's nothing to worry about here.
Racing so well.
If anything, there'll be some advantage to the on paces, but it's really more about tempo than any lanes or any issues. So I think you can approach it with a pretty clear mind and just. And
there's a bit of rain around, but potentially later on, if it does rain, the inside could chop a little bit, but maybe not.
Well, it's a good 3 this morning.
Yep.
I just looked at the radar before we come out here, and it's raining at Caulfield now, but probably looks like they've had 5 mils there today, and I think if it hadn't have rained, they probably would have put that on anyway.
Okay.
So I think it's probably better just making it more even.
Get rid of the Sydney mentality. A little drop of rain, it just goes to shit.
Yeah, you're right though, if it rained Saturday, it'd be an issue, but I don't think it's going to.
Okay, beautiful. Well mate, I had a quick look at this card, and look, there's some great horses, great races, great little form to go through. So let's start off with the first, and Set Square is an interesting runner, isn't it? With one of your favourites, I suppose, of last year. You had a massive, you got real keen on it for the Oaks early. Resumes off a weird campaign last time. The favourite here, we've got Dainstrom, Kansas Sunflower, and Summer Tested.
Yeah, so Set Square, let's just start off with her. She started off last prep really well.
She did. The first run was a cracker.
Yeah, then she come to Sydney and fell completely to pieces in the yard.
That's right. That was almost.
It was all over.
Complete. So forget that run, punters.
Yeah, but so I just want to see her rebuild herself here. So she's first up. So I'm just going to have a look at her first up.
Okay.
But
beautiful.
She's on. We'll have a look at her for a few runs down the track. Hopefully she can get herself back. But so this is a funny race. This is a soft-looking field for mares. There's only 8 of them because Barron Miller's out.
Yep.
The map looks soft. Danestrom's been wound right up for a first up run. Unusual for her to resume at 1400. Mick Kent does unusual things.
He does it well normally.
So he does, yeah.
Cheeky, yeah.
Unusual's good with him, but
Yep.
she hasn't won since 2013, albeit December. And 1400 Tessa. So I can understand why she was the first horse backed when these markets went. I think she went up about $10,
Yeah.
and she's been backed into favourite. But I'm going to let her go around against me. I think mares like her that haven't won for so long, you're entitled to let them win a race before you get involved.
Yep. Good advice.
So she's taken up a big chunk of the market now, and I like that. So what do I like here? I went through all these, and I'll tell you what, in terms of 1400, the mares that are up and running here, there's not much substance. Summer Tested was hopeless first up, but she did that last prep. She's better at Caulfield, so she's thereabouts. Kansas Sunflower, we had a decent bet on her back in July or whenever it was.
You did, yeah.
And she looked to have the race shot to bits, and was rounded up late by Manageress, which at the time I thought was a bit disappointing, but in hindsight it makes perfect sense.
Yeah,
Manageress improved, and she had a big weight pull that day, and so it all sort of makes sense. So Kansas Sunflower's capable of getting up on speed here, and I think she'll run a good race.
Okay.
The rest of them, so Set Square we've already talked about. Moss Beat just doesn't win. Redder Sun looks to me Sandown only, so I'm happy to have a look at her at Caulfield. So I'm looking at all this thinking this is a pretty soft mares race.
Okay.
And I come to this Kiwi and I have a good look at her, and she has got some real form.
Yeah.
I mean, form that is just way too good for these.
Wow, okay.
So she's an interesting runner. She's first up, 1400s, and a soft 1400s, probably not perfect,
Yep.
but she's got a good first up record. The fact that they'll probably go only sort of a tempo means she should be able to stay in contact.
Okay.
And if she's in contact with them at the turn, she will round them up.
Wow, yeah. Certainly some genuine Group 1 weight for age form, I suppose.
She's just
over there. Yeah.
I'm amazed that she's the price she is.
Yeah.
She's Kiwi, but she's come to Peter Moody, so she's probably had a full prep over here.
Yep.
She's had jump outs here. The jump out I had a look at, she was very strong late.
Okay.
So she's a back marker, so it's not normally the sort of horse I find, but she's just got too much on these, not the backer.
Yep.
So I was happy to take sort of prices between $9 and $7 early, and I think that's a good idea.
Okay. Well, a little bit exciting to start the day. Sounds good. Now let's go straight into the second. Took a horse that was, I think it was good to you, wasn't it? Alaskan Rose. Did you spot this off jump outs or trials?
Yeah, no, she jumped out in the same one as Snoopy, who won the
Yep.
first race on the same day. Hers was every bit as good as his, and she met a weak team of fillies there and just killed them. So.
She did, and she was eased down on the line. So
And she was good odds, surprisingly good odds that day.
exactly.
So that was a weak team of fillies, and I think I took about 480 or 4, I can't remember what it was, 4 something.
Yep.
And here she is, a $2.40 favourite, or shorter even.
Exactly, and again, so its next picks, I suppose, is Sailing By for Mick Price. I suppose you've sort of given us a bit of a hint there. You think was good on debut, but not that excited at the price. Is that what you're saying?
Well, she'll improve.
Yeah.
Right, she'll definitely improve. She's got talent,
Yep.
but she is too short.
Okay.
Because the week before she won, Sailing By won a much stronger maiden at
I was going
Sandown.
to ask you about the figures because they look pretty strong that last one. Sailing By went slow. Alaskan Rose went slow in her race.
Very
came
slow.
home fast.
Yeah. So that was really a
Hard.
no.
To,
Yeah. She's got ability.
Yep.
I'm not knocking her at all.
Yep.
But Sailing By's win
Has
had substance.
Yep.
It was a strong run race.
Yep.
It was against the males. The form out of the race has been strong. The horse she ran down, Strike Force, was a huge go yesterday and missed the start, which cost it the race.
Okay.
So Sailing By's got aces here. So she's had 3 runs.
Yep.
Alaskan Rose has only had 1.
Yep.
This is Sailing By's home track. First go at home track. She's a filly. Mark Lambourne would love her.
Yeah.
So I can't understand the gap between them price-wise.
Yep.
It should be much narrower. So interesting race. I think they've got the rest covered. The only other two I could even consider, but I'd find them hard to back, are Julietta, who seemed to have issues first up. She couldn't get up on speed, so maybe she's over that and is okay. And Heir Apparent, who got beat at $1.20 or something at Geelong.
Yeah.
First up, she's got some talent, but she's yet to find a win. So
Okay.
it's all about sailing by and Alaskan Rose and the betting there.
Yeah,
Interesting.
that's a good little angle already. John Walser, we've sort of all been a bit impressed with John from, look, he's set, also has an interim set only through Pro Bet Alive, but also his $20 service. But from what we've seen, his results are going to come soon. He hasn't had any great fill-ups yet in Sydney, but he looks like he's a very sharp operator.
The work's outstanding.
Yep.
He just does so much work, and he finds all the right horses.
Yep.
And he was let down terribly by the little men riding last week in a number of races. You'd find it hard to believe you could have. He was on the big results for him were Winetails.
Yep.
The Chris Lee's horse in the last, what's it called, Artabai.
Oh yeah.
And
Jimmy pulled one over.
Boss Lane. You can't really blame the jockey there. That was really the horse. So there was another one as well, but he just he just could not take a trick last week from a rubber the green point of view, and the set still broke even.
Yeah.
So like when you're breaking even when everything goes wrong,
yep,
you're doing a lot right.
His last 2 weeks have been breaking even, and everything's gone wrong. So you know, it's just going to be. I'm very confident in John's work, and I'm excited to have him on. And obviously, John joins us in the chat room, but so do you. So you've also got your thoughts on Sydney, and Darren throws them in as well. So you're getting a bit of both, aren't you?
Yep, absolutely. And I see he's chimed in with a nice early set this week.
He has. I didn't even have time to flick it through yet. So they'll both come out this afternoon.
They will. That's
so
good.
Yeah, that'll be good. Race 3 at Caulfield. Now, look, I'll be honest. This with my 5-minute form for our preview, I didn't have that much time. But I'm seeing $6 a field, real time. There's 3 first uppers, and real time is one of them, and it's a favourite. Thoughts on this massive race? 20 so far with, 4 emergencies? Yeah,
this is the add-on race to give us 9.
This is a headache race.
So in over winter, you haven't really noticed, you know, you had to look for which one was the add-on race, but here now we're starting to get into better racing.
Yeah, now
it sticks out like, you know, it really does stick out. This is a team of mostly midweek horses.
Yeah.
You sort of, I think I said about a race like this a couple of weeks ago, you're probably better off not betting in them, but I tend to get involved at a small level because the field size creates value.
So much value.
There's a lot of runners here that really haven't got much hope at all, taking up too much percentage of the market. So the ones that have got some separation on this field, there is some value in them. So they're not so much in the early market, but once the market gets closer to 110%,
look, I think it's probably about 160 with the emergency percentages in there at the moment. So.
And the 3 emergencies are live, so...
right, that's a big one.
So you have to really see what the final field looks like. Look, I'll be really quick here. Look, what was the horse you mentioned? Real
time.
Real time. He managed 4 wins in his first prep. That's not easy to do, so he's a talented horse, and he's trialled well. He's right in it. Oriental Line was well backed first up in a 1,000-metre race, which was really odd.
Yeah, that's right.
He's much better suited here at 1,200, and he's a good chance. And Sir Barris went around in that 1,000-metre race. He was a better run than Oriental Line, marginally.
Yep.
He's a back marker, needs luck, but he's had 1 run at Caulfield, and it was a really good run. And he'll be running on hard late, but that's about all I've got to say, really. Yeah,
fair enough. Sir Barris, he's an old Sydney horse.
He's an old Sydney horse.
Gwyn might have rode him a few times.
Yep.
Gwyn can pat him on the head when he's down there. Let's jump into it. Race 4. Here we go. We're a little bit excited about this one. 360 Prince of Brooklyn, who is undefeated. 440 Ready to Victory, who sort of created a bit of an impression on the punters early doors and ran
second in the slipper.
It was a nice looking. Oh no, ran 4th out wide.
Oh, that's
the same colours. The same colours. That's right. They sold. But it was a huge run, way off the track.
Yeah, he ran off the track.
And looks one horse that we've sort of are interested in. Stream ahead down the bottom.
Yep. So here we go. There's 10 colts and 1 filly. The colts with the current form are no good. You get the pen out and just pretty much brush all of them. The only one that's got any hope at all is Gold Symphony, but he's got some improving to do. So that leaves the race open to the resumers and the filly.
Yep.
Let's deal with the filly first. You know, she's drawn gate 1, which means she's going to need to be well ridden. I don't know a lot about the rider, but I think she's got the speed to push up and hold the box seat if they want to, or 1 pair further back. So
yep.
It's not an easy position to win from. If they sit in the box seat, I think she'll probably get every chance. That Petite Falou forms is, you know, that's just,
it's some of the best form going around at the moment.
yeah.
I think
It was at 1,000 metres, and she's had a gap between runs. So there's a few, but she's highly backable here at $7.
yeah.
So I know she's no good thing or anything, but she's got I can't not back her at that price.
Yeah.
Then the 2 resumers. So we've got Prince of Brooklyn and Ready for Victory. Ready for Victory was really good first up running down Heatherley. Then went to the Golden Slipper and ran off the track. It was a good run, but it's a worrying sign. And then he was terrible in the sires. And he's had a couple of trials. They've been okay, but he's not finding the line really.
Yeah.
I don't think. So I've got this bit of a suspicion that he's not quite right. He might be, but he might not be quite right. So I want to have a look at him first up. Yeah. Prince of Brooklyn, on the other hand, he started incredible odds on debut, $10 or something, for a horse that's got as much ability as he has. And I'm speculating that the reason it is he's a much better racehorse than he is a track worker.
Okay.
This horse is a line finder. I don't think they're anywhere near the bottom of him yet. He'll just chase whatever's in front of him.
Yeah.
And in any circumstances, we don't know how good he is yet. So I mean, he is top pick here for me, and he'll be very hard to beat. So just be interesting to see what happens in the early play here, because he'll either sit outside, stream ahead 1 by 1,
yep, or
cross her and sit in the box seat. So I'd rather not be on 2 horses at a box seat and the next pair back on the rail, but that's the way it works out sometimes. So anyway, looking forward to the race.
It's a good race, real good. And Warren Huntley might be able to help us out there with the mounting yard.
Yeah, I just want to say, Prince of Brooklyn, they bet in excess of $4 early. It's been taken. I've just got a feeling this horse is going to be heavily backed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't. The price now, sort of, to me, getting borderline, but it might be as good as it gets.
Okay. Before we do race 5, there's a resumption of Rich Enough. The Memsie tournament with Top Better this week, the Memsie Day tournament. This is the day we've been talking about for the last 6 weeks across different platforms. Look, last time they got about $15,000 to the first place getter, and they're looking to get between 15 and 20 this week. So the Memsie tournament, we said last week, it's $5.50 buy-in. If you're going out on your own, go for it. If you want to pull some mates together to get up to $5.50, please do it. It's going to be a huge day, probably their biggest tournament yet, I reckon. Yeah,
look, it's they're great fun. I wished I had more time on my hands.
Time and tactics,
wasn't required to keep our Pro Better Life subscribers informed. Right. Otherwise, I'd be
straight in there.
It'd be in there for sure. I went in, entered in probably half a dozen or so tournaments last year. It's just thoroughly enjoyable.
It is. You're alive in every race, and if you're sitting out, it's exciting to see what everyone else has done.
So, as I understand it, they've made some improvements since to the...
they have. The leaderboard tallies up much quicker.
Yeah.
There's a rebuy-in option early, so there's no sort of fake accounts coming through. You know where it all goes.
Yeah.
Just quick resulting. It's good.
Anyone that gets involved, you'll enjoy it. It's just good fun, particularly if you're in play coming to the last couple of races, and you've got to, I found it really challenging because it's a completely different beast to punting for profit.
Well, Glenn Pollitt's a great example. He was in the Stradbroke Day tournament. He wouldn't know a Brisbane horse, besides the Sydney horses that go up there. He didn't know any of the form. He just has a purely mathematical way of playing these things, and he ran second. He's a marvel at it.
He is. Well, I think that the all-in type culture of these tournaments is very suitable for Glenn.
It sure is.
It's a little bit harder for me. So
yeah,
but look, anyone that gets involved will enjoy it.
You'll love it. It's a great day, Memsie Day, and look, we're going through the races now. Have a go. Join in topbetter.com.au. Race 5. It's the return of Rich Enough, and $2.20. Sort of solid. $4.40 for bounding. And that's sort of under the Louvre, I suppose, is thereabouts.
Yeah.
Rich Enough. Had a couple of trials. Look, was breaking the clock in regards to the RSPs, and I'm assuming your ratings would have it breaking the clock at certain points when it was at its peak.
Yeah.
What are we thinking?
Well, he's a good horse.
Yeah, a good horse.
He's a good horse. I mean, at this, 12 to 1600 metre range, he's got the ability to be the best horse in the country if he's back.
Right.
If you ignore that he's been injured. So.
Yep.
If he just had to resume normally,
yeah,
and made normal progression,
yep,
you'd expect him to be the best 4-year-old in the country, which makes him the best horse in the country.
Yeah.
The 4-year-olds are just dominant at the moment. His trials look good to me, particularly early. So,
yep,
punters that want to know what I look for in trials, I watch very closely what happens in the first 200 metres.
Okay.
And then go back and work out, often with the help of Vince, what sort of sectionals they were running.
Yep.
And he was running pretty quick under absolutely no duress.
Okay.
So 1100 metres from gate 1's not ideal. If he drew gate 8 here, he'd be perfect. But
how's his gate speed? I can't really remember.
It's fine.
It's fine. Yep.
I don't think.
And was it one of those injuries? Was it a precautionary sort of?
Yeah.
So it wasn't like he's had a bad breakdown.
No.
It was just, this is my pet. I'm not taking any chances. We're going to miss this.
Well, he's a stallion, and he's not.
Yeah.
So he's a stallion prospect. So they're not going to take a single risk with him. So, and they'll want him to win. So you've either got to. You're either going to back him here or lay him, really. Like, there's not too many other real angles in the race. I suppose there'll be supporters for bounding first up for the Snowdens.
Yep.
I can understand that, and I suppose there might be some fans for Under the Louvre. But you're either sort of, if you're a fan of Rich Enough, you think he's going to win.
Yeah.
And if you're a bit sceptical after the injury and everything else, you're just going to lay him, aren't you? I mean, that seems to be the nature of the race. For my part, I'm not going to get heavily involved in this race, but I am prepared to back Rich Enough. I think he'll get out I think the bookies will be prepared to take some risks with him, and I'll be having a moderate sort of bet on him.
Yep, I think I concur. Like this might be a repricing situation. You've seen two mares sort of second and third pick, level weights.
Yeah.
If he's right.
Yeah.
There's at least a few lengths on these.
I'd be having a much stronger bet from a wider gate. There are things not much of them to go wrong from gate 1. Okay. And it'd be better for me if it was 1200. 1100's a different.
It sure is.
Yeah. The race just configures differently at 1100.
It sure is. They don't have that little switch off period, which you might get at 12. Anyway, there he is, return of Rich Enough. I think we're pretty positive within reason. See what happens with the betting.
I think he'll. If you ask me, I'd say, Darren, do you think he'll win? I think he'll win.
Yep.
That's what I think.
Fair enough.
Yeah, but I can understand why there'll be plenty of people that'll be happy to oppose him.
I suppose if he didn't have an injury, he'd be much shorter than the 220.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Let's go to race 6. Charmed Harmony's been a little champion around Caulfield. It's 320. It's also in the big race, but right down the bottom, isn't it?
Not likely to get a run there.
He or she resumes at $7 and $8 for pressing. Once again, a really open betting market with some good horses like Tall Ship, and Scream Machine has moved to Smurden. It's a good deep race, isn't it?
Yep. So there's 15 left, there's 3 out already.
Yep.
So you'd expect with 15 that Charmed Harmony would get some pressure. You'd be wrong.
Oh, really?
So on paper, there's just a race full of back markets. So
well, there was certainly no pressure last time.
So sure. Yeah, well, I don't think you'll quite get at that here. But so I think the other connections will figure it out. Someone will take a chance.
Whenever all the connections are going, there's no pace. We're going to be the ones to take him on that.
Yeah, I mean, all the jockey managers are doing their maps, and the jockeys and the people that advise them, and You know, so Dean Lester will be connected to someone. He'll say, "Oh, it'd be worth having a throw at the stump." So
Yeah, exactly.
horses like Zabrins, he or she, geez, if I was talking to Chris Parnham, I'd be saying, Chris, just have a look early. If you can get up within 3 lengths of Charmed Harmony, I think you'll be beating him. So,
right, and the Ascot, the Western Australia form's been pretty solid, hasn't it?
Yeah, and this horse has got a great Western Australian record.
Yep.
Come over to Flemington, to Victoria, and found a race in June or July, whenever it was.
Yeah, June.
Full of horses that were wound up.
Yep.
And he started favourite. He probably shouldn't have started favourite, and had no luck. It was a run with merit. So he's off a short break here. He's been wound right up at the trials. I just hope they put him up on pace. And assuming that they do, I want to back him here to run Charmed Harmony down. I think he's very good odds.
Okay, beautiful. He or she.
He or she. The other, so Charmed Harmony's going to run a great race, so it's pretty obvious. I mean, the only discussion point with Charmed Harmony is it's raining in Melbourne now, so that's probably becoming a moot point. But if the track happened to be a good 3, John Sadler will probably scratch him.
Okay.
Doesn't like running this horse on anything. He likes 4s. So anyway, Awesome Rock is a runner that interests me a little bit. He's off the short break. He's a 4-year-old. I'm not in love with his record. He's only won 1 race.
Yep.
He's a sort of bit of a gunner, but this is his chance to do something on his home track.
Okay.
He's training Caulfield, isn't he?
Flemington,
sorry.
Yep.
My mistake.
His last time he was here, he ran 3rd to Rich Enough.
He ran in the right races.
Ran well in Queensland as well. It's Queensland sun on his back, all that sort of stuff.
So I mean, he's got a double-figure chance, and the rest of them are,
Yeah.
Zabrins has got a play in the race. Pressing's not hopeless, So I'm really putting all my eggs in the in the basket of he or she, hoping that they get the tactics right.
Yeah, and look, it's been a while since the favourite's been tested, and I think a little bit inflated his profile at the moment.
Well, he's either racing in peak form or he's gone over. Because that last run told you nothing.
Yeah.
Didn't really tell you whether he's holding his form or not. Yeah, I'm just not sure.
Right. This is a great race, this one. We got, Veselay is an emergency. Has there been any scratchings yet?
No.
I haven't seen any. Veselay, $3.70, but the emergency. $5 Cosmic Endeavour. $7 Girl Guide. And Hazard, who sort of set the world alight at points in Queensland, is $9. Beat our mate Catkins, who we thought was going really well, but made her look silly at one point.
Yeah, she had a good winter, Hazard, but she draws the outside here, and I think she's got her work cut out. So I'm not really considering her here.
Okay.
I mean, obviously the whole race revolves around whether Veselay gets a run, so I don't think there's much point doing a race like this unless you include her. So even though normally I tend to ignore emergencies, but she's only needs 1 scratching, so I did the race as if she's in it.
Yep, fair enough.
Again, 17 runners and not a great deal of speed. They'll go above average here because of the field size, but not a lot. So Veselay and Grionte will get up front, and I think they can dominate the race from the front. So Veselay had pretty much a barrier trial win first up.
Yep.
She needs to step up here, but she's very likely to improve at least 2 lengths, maybe more, and that makes her the horse to beat. And Grionte is a mare that always improves second up. She ran a terrific race first up against the males, where she was in front with 150 to go and only got tired late in a race that was completely dominated by run-on horses.
Yep.
She'll be in the finish, and she's good odds.
Yeah, sure is.
Cosmic Endeavour, she's a great mare. The map looks okay for her. She can run a race, but I'm just prepared to risk her at the price first up. I think she's as she's getting older, she's going to need a run or 2. to do her best, but she could win here without doing her best. So
Yeah,
she's a winning chance.
she was real burly last time we saw her first up, so it'll be interesting to see. I know Nick said she's a little bit more forward, but that's Nick down at Randwick Track Work. Expects her to maybe need the run, but not be too far off him.
I did watch that with interest. I saw what Nick had to say. I'm giving an honourable mention to Jessie Bell, who produced 2 cracking wins in June and July, and I'd almost be tipping her at 1400, but at 1200, she's got a chance at big odds. And the other dangerous horse in the race, although I'm going to let her go first up, is Madam Gangster. Since she's joined the Lee and Shannon Hope stable, she has been flying.
Yeah.
And it's just a bit of a tricky map for her, and she really, I think 1400 metres is really her go. So.
Okay.
But I wouldn't. She'd be strong late.
Here we go, Daz. That's a big one.
Here
I've gone off too early. No, I haven't. The Memsie. We've got $5 for a Boban resuming, $8 Vox Stock and Barrel, $10 a piece for Weary, High World, and there's a host of other chances. A great race. What are you thinking? Boban was in this race last year, but was second up.
But what do we do with Boban? Boban did completely missing for 2 preps.
He did.
And then he reappeared. Obviously enjoyed Queensland. So whatever he did up in Queensland, he obviously liked it. So I think what you say is he's back, right?
I think he's back.
So
he's brought that to the trial. He's always trialled well, I suppose. Yeah. He's certainly trialling well this time.
Yeah, he's jumping out of his skin. So he's gonna run his race, right?
Yep.
But what's his race? His race is in a 1400 metre race.
Yeah.
Is to drop out to the second half of the field and try and pick him off late.
Yeah.
Do you want to take $5?
Well, no. Look, he's found, I suppose, isn't he?
I'm not saying you don't want to take $5.
Yeah.
I'm saying if you're going to bet in this race, you probably have to save on Boban.
Yeah. Well,
I don't want to lay him.
Like
he's too dynamic to lay.
Exactly.
You can just pull your pants down. So, but he's not. You can't. I'm not going to have 20 units on him either. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
So he's right in the race, but he's neither here nor there to me. He's just a runner to be wary of. Although I can't price him much different to the market. That seems to be about the right price.
Yeah, $5 in one joint, but he's sort of trickling.
Well, when I'm saying that, I'm saying market order, right? So with the percentage in the market, I'm saying that's about right.
Yep.
But when the market gets serious, they'll probably bet $5.50, $6, maybe even $6.50.
Yeah.
When depends on what happens to some of these other runners.
Yeah.
So.
Exactly.
But that's about where he's at.
Well, to work out his true price, you need to assess the chances of the others. So who else can run a great race at the 1400?
Yeah, if you want to know what I think the chances of these horses are to 100%, you have to buy them a set or subscribe to PBL.
Exactly.
Either way, you'll get my full set of prices to 100%. Okay, so righto, I think there's a good betting opportunity here. The 4-year-olds are the horses to get on your side if you can at the moment. They've got an advantage. Stratum Star draws perfectly.
Okay.
This race is lacking an obvious leader. You end up with Entirely Platinum and maybe Volk Stock and Barrel, although I sort of doubt that.
Yeah.
Maybe Temple of Boom, but he doesn't want to lead. Maybe High World, but I think they'll be happy to take the box seat.
Yep.
So you've sort of got all these maybe things, no one really wanting the front, even though we've got another big field.
Yep.
There's not an obvious leader. So it's not going to be, I don't think it's going to be, it's not really going to be a race for back markets, which again sends up the, so the developing race pattern over the course of the day will have an impact here, because if on paces are dominating, then some of them will try their hand here a bit, and it could change things. But so and it could affect, like if back markers have got no hope, all of a sudden people will be wanting to lay Boban hand over fist.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's going to be a dynamic race. Lots going to change here, but the one thing for sure is Stratum Star will just get into a beautiful spot. He can just sit right behind him, within sort of 2 to 3 lengths of the lead. Yep. And make his run from the 600. He's just
that one Gina form ended up being some of our better form, wasn't it, last time?
That is the form race of the autumn.
It is.
So fed into everything with Kermadec and
Yeah.
all sorts of other form coming out of that race.
Yep.
So he's he hasn't won a heap of races, but he's a winner still. You know, like he's not a non-winner.
Yep.
He's had the recent run.
Mhm.
He maps well.
Yep.
I can't understand why he's $11. I can't not bet here. You know, it's sort of a race that you'd be.
Yeah.
It's, you know, there's a lot of. It's just so, he's an attractive bet.
Mhm.
So he goes on top for me. Sticking with the 4-year-olds, High World improved hand over fist last prep. He would just improve with every run.
Yeah. Sort of. Well, I think spruiked up around the Epsom sort of form line looks about right. But he was really impressive all the way through.
Yeah, well, it was that second, third level 3-year-old form last in autumn, but
Yep.
he was just improving so quickly. I would have been surprised if he doesn't improve again this prep.
Mhm.
And he's trialled like a horse that's improved drastically. So
Yeah, right.
he also maps beautifully. So he goes in for me too.
Okay.
The other 4-year-old is Volkstock and Barrel. I mean, it's done my head in. He's resuming off 4 runs in excess of 2,000 metres. So
Yeah.
and he's an on-pacer. So I'm sort of on the fence with him. I've marked him longer than the market has, but
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I'm right. I'm just not sure.
Yeah. To be honest, I was a bit surprised it was right up there in the market. It's a 2,000 metre horse and plus.
Well, I think he's probably a miler that they tried to get out to a derby distance, right?
That's what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah. So now he might be a 2,000 metre horse, but so
Yeah.
you've still got to resume off that. You know what I mean? It does.
Yeah.
It does make you a bit more dour.
Funny,
you know?
I think some of the results in the Memsie over the last few years, you find your genuine 1,400, 1,200 metre horse ahead, and then you've got all these flashing runs from the stayers. And
Atlantic Jewel.
Atlantic Jewel obviously donkey licked them, but then you had some real good stayers sprinting home. So we just want to find that one, and I think you're pretty keen from the Weir runner.
Yeah,
and High World, I suppose.
Yeah, I'm keener on the Weir runner because he had the recent run. I think that's a huge advantage here over these horses. Weary would have been a chance in the race, but he's drawn terribly. It's going to be tricky for him. I wouldn't be surprised to see him scratched. The Waller runners are often scratched when they map that way. I mean, the rest of them are just the usual suspects.
Okay.
Patrology is another 4-year-old, but I think he needs to come back a step in class. He's going to find these a couple of lengths too good for him.
Okay. All right. Well, that's a cracking race. The Memsie and Darren was very generous on this preview show. I think you might give too much away.
Well, as long as the information gets to our subscribers first.
Yeah. Sounds
that's
good.
okay, I think.
Exactly. So grab the interim set tonight. So the last race, 1,700 metres. This is a little bit, here we go. Iggy McCall, who was good to us because it ran second in our one of the plays of the day last start.
Yeah.
It's become favourite, and we were sort of we were both opposing its form, but it did actually surprise us with how well it ran.
That's right. I was opposing its setup.
Just the setup and the option that we had on the day.
Yeah. But you're right. She ran far better than I gave her credit for.
And
so it was a cracking run.
As a form student, you've got to add a few ticks to that, I suppose.
Definitely. She would have been something to beat in a 1,600 metre mares race, but obviously there was not one available. So here they are against the males again.
Yep.
And she's got a good chance. So I mean, this time she is well set up.
Yeah.
She's 4th up.
Yep.
Out of a well-run race. It wasn't.
Yep.
You know. The jockey on Ompacale got it perfect.
Sure did.
And got the job done. I think she'll beat Ompacale home this time.
Yep.
So this time she's 4th up plus 100 metres. That's ideal.
Yep.
So she's right in this race. She looks well found to me. Not by a lot, just because she was heavily tipped in the media last start.
Everyone's
and then she looked a bit unlucky, so they've all sort of jumped on again. But I think she'll get out to a slightly better price.
Okay. Yep.
And again, the pattern of the day will have an impact here. Now another horse that we opposed last start, it was Excess Knowledge.
Yes.
First up against the Weight for Age horses off a couple of hollow wins last prep.
Yeah, for sure.
However, he started 460, which surprised me.
Yep.
He ran well. He raced outside the cleaner and he kept trying.
Only beaten 2 lengths by Mourinho. Yep.
Yep. He kept going battling all the way the line there. And I actually think the outside draw here is ideal for him because he's Gay Waterhouse. And they'll just go, right, oh, here we go, bang.
Yep.
And they'll get up and chase on Picalo. And I expect Excess Knowledge to be in the finish. And he is backable in the early markets.
Yeah, and I know Kieran McAvoy, his record on horses that go forward is actually really good at the moment. For those that are keeping stats on front runners.
Well, I just kept seeing him ride Gay Waterhouse runners, and he keeps riding them well.
Yep.
And Kieran, as a rule, goes better in Melbourne.
Right. Okay.
Melbourne seems to suit Kieran.
The away shorts.
Yeah, he does good down there. So that's, I mean, they're the two obvious anyway. That's the market.
Yep.
You don't need me to tell you they've got good chances, but
yeah,
they're both right in the race, and they're the two horses to beat.
Yep.
However, there are a couple of roughies here that I think are interesting. Magna Powell ran a career best first up, and he is from a stable that is flying.
Yeah.
Their horses just keep doing really...
Yeah, that was a huge run. I did not see that coming.
Yeah, their horses are running through brick walls. So...
What's that, the O'Sullivan camp?
Terry and Karina O'Sullivan. So let's include Magna Powell.
Okay.
At big odds, just a bit speculative. I think Pacific Heights is not out of the question, although I probably won't be backing him here. I'm just saying he's got a chance at big odds.
Yeah, it did threaten to go past Tillabell Rings at one point.
Yeah, I don't particularly like that race.
Yeah.
But I can see why. I could see him being specced in this race, and I'm not saying he's sort of one that is borderline for me. The other one that I am going to have something on is Escardo, who had a non-winners record, or has got a non-winners record, but he found a race to win in Queensland, and in the lead up to that win, all of a sudden last prep, he started travelling better in his races. So I think one of the reasons why he wasn't winning previously is I think he must have had an issue, and it was taking him forever to get sort of warmed up in a race, and he was often running on well. Yep. And all of a sudden, they got on top of whatever the issue was, and the horse started travelling better, and he was more competitive in all the races he ran in. Now I think 1700 first up for him is ideal, and he's capable at big odds. So there we go.
That's a good little insight there in the last, and look, it's one of the better last races we've had, I think, in recent weeks.
Yeah, they're always interesting races, the 1700s. Yeah. It's a little bit different.
Oh, we found Sir Mako.
Yeah, we did
the last race. Yeah, so that was a nice one from a bit of help from the mounting yard and yourself. Saw the odds and got to a silly price. That's what you said. Yeah,
he did. He got out to big odds, and he. The strangest thing about Moonee Valley last week was it was fence on. Well, the on paces were completely dominating all the races.
Yep.
And the last two races of the day were incredibly slowly run. I got no idea what the jockeys were thinking in races 8 and 9 last week, but the on pace, the chief offenders were Regan Bayless on Kenjawood. He should have won that race.
Yep.
If he should never have restrained the horse, he should have let it just go to the front.
Yep.
And he certainly should have pushed the tempo from at least the 1,000, maybe the 800. And in the last race, I think it was Dwayne Dunn on West Southwest. He gave up the lead to Roney.
That's right.
He was on a very fit horse on a quick backup, and he just gave away his advantage. And I'm glad he did, because it allowed Sir Mako to. I don't want to say out sprint them, because that's not what happened, but he went faster than them late than those other slow horses.
They slowed down more than him.
Yeah.
That was another great preview. A fantastic, I suppose, day of racing down in Melbourne.
Yep.
Your stuff's available right now. Pro Bet Alive, Daz is set individually. Johnny Walters on board. The Memsie tournament, you've got to get into it. So we hope you enjoyed the preview, and we'll see you next week.
Good stuff.
Thank you.
Thanks, mate.